two jobs. Okay? Let's summarize those right now. DNA polymerase 3, okay, it extends the 3' end, the primer. Okay? And this enzyme does the bulk of the replication. It's the main replicating enzyme. Okay? DNA polymerase 1 its main job is to bind to the primer, which is RNA, and remove it. And it does that, it will remove the RNA primer because this enzyme has, what we say, 3 to 5 prime, so in the opposite direction, exonuclease activity. A nuclease is an enzyme that can chew up DNA, eat it away. So it'll bind to the primer and remove those RNA nucleotides in the 5' direction, okay? And then go backwards, and then it will replace the primer with DNA in the 5' direction. So back, it digests it and then back stitches it back in. So it binds to this primer here, we chew it up, and then stitch it back. Bind it, digest it in actually bind here, bind the 3' end, chew it up that way, and then re-stitch it. Bind, chew it up, stitch it back. Then the gaps are sealed by the ligase enzyme. Complicated. And the next slide is like we saw in the video. There's actually at the replication fork a replication machine where these enzymes are all tethered together as you saw in the video. There was the polymerase, the helicase, unzipping the molecule. It is tethered to one DNA polymerase 3 that continues to replicate continuously toward the fork in the leading strand. And then tethered to the helicase 2, the DNA polymerase. Also, we work in the same direction because the DNA template folds back in the cell. You see that? And the fragments are built. So this one's built, then that one, then this one, and the next one. Okay? Do you want to watch the video again? No? I'll post it. You can watch it if you want. It's a bitch, ain't it? I'm not taking this class. Sorry. Here's a table from your book that summarizes the action of these enzymes. Helicase, unwanted double helix. The single-strand binding protein stabilize the same. Don't have to copy this down. It's in the book and it's on the slides. Stabilize the single-strand DNA and prevent the two strands at the fork from reforming a double-strand DNA, because otherwise they would. They'd come back together. Topoisomerase avoids the twisting of the DNA at the fork by cutting the DNA, turning the DNA on one side. The break, allow it to relax the tension, and rejoin the two strands. Primase synthesizes the prime in the 5' direction. Polymerase is your main replicating enzyme. And polymerase 1 is the one that uses this. Notice the directions reversed here. That's a misprint. It should be 3 to 5. Exonuclease activity to remove the RNA. No, I'm sorry, that's right. It goes in the same direction. I'm sorry. My mistake. It removes the base and stitches it back in. This enzyme has the 3 to 5 exonuclease activity. That's where I got confused here. We'll see later. This one can back up and go the other direction to fix a mismatch. This one breaks the removes the RNA polymerase and stitches the new one in the same direction. So my mistake there.
So there's no exonuclease activity from DNA?
No, there is this one. So this one's both activities in the same direction for DNA polymerase 1. This enzyme grows a new strand in the 5 to 3 direction, but it also has exonuclease activity in the opposite direction. 3 to 5. Now sometimes they'll add the wrong base and know that and stop and go backwards and chew it off and then replace it. Okay? Because no machine is perfect. These are not designed machines. There's no designer here. These things evolve and they're not perfect. They make mistakes. So everybody caught my mistake there. My mistake, right? Okay. And here's the last two. There's the sliding clamp that keeps DNA polymerase attached to template. And ligase seals the nick between the fragments after the primers have been replaced. Yeah?
So the DNA polymerase 1 still has exonuclease activity?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me back up the picture. I know, I'm sorry I said that wrong. Okay. So, look at it here. So, where's the fragments? Or, DNA polymerase shown here. I'll make my own drawing. Okay. So we've got this fragment here. This is RNA here. That solid arrow, right? On my drawing here. DNA polymerase 1 will bind here and destroy this fragment in that direction. So this is DNA polymerase 1. And it'll eat away the fragment. It'll remove that fragment in the 5 to 3 direction. It's exonuclease. It'll chew that away. And what it does, it removes a base, and then it adds the correct base. Okay? So it removes one, and then it stitches in a new one. At the same time. So it has nucleus activity in that direction, and also has in that same direction the synthetic step in the 5 to 3 direction. Okay? And that was in the animation we saw. Okay? Now, if DNA polymerase 3 makes a mistake, let's say there's a T here, and it adds what should it add? Let's say it adds a G by mistake. Okay, it's a mismatch. It'll stop, so it's going in the 5 to 3 direction on the new strand here, 5 to 3 direction. It'll stop, reverse, go in the 3 to 5 direction, chew it off, and then replace it. So it can stop, back up, and go. So DNA polymerase 3 has exonuclease activity in the opposite direction from that of the synthetic activity. This one, they're both in the same direction. It chews off the RNA, adds the right one. Chews the RNA, adds the right one. Okay. I think to end class, let's watch that. Let's watch that video game because you'll see that. I think that would be the appropriate thing. If you don't want to watch it again, you can switch. I'm going to show that one more time here.
Every cell in your body is produced by cell division. Before each cell divides, it must copy its genetic material in a process called DNA replication. Understanding of DNA replication comes largely from studies of E. coli, bacteria that are found by the billions in your large intestine. Let's take a look at how DNA replication occurs in an E. coli cell. As we zoom in, we see the DNA. At the origin of replication, the two strands of DNA separate, serving as templates for making new strands. The result is a replication bubble. The bubble grows in both directions, forming two replication forks. Let's zoom in on one of them. Many proteins work together at the replication fork.
Helicase.
Only some are shown.
Clamps.
Here, the DNA is unwound,
There's the primer
and
there.
DNA polymerases, shown in orange, build new strands of DNA.
There's the previous primer.
Original parental DNA strands are shown in dark blue. Newly formed DNA strands are shown in light blue. Because strands in a DNA double helix run in opposite directions, the new strands must be made in different ways. One new strand,
Okay. So here are the leading strand, primed once toward the replication fork, which is here, as helicates and zips it. Then on the lagging strand, okay, we're extending the primer previously established by primase, and I'll show that in a second here. It's going to bump into the previous RNA primer here, okay? So we're going to show leading strand first. So again, this is the 3' end here. They're added according to base pair rules. This is DNA polymerase 3. Out of the way. That's continuous toward the fork. The lagging strand's moving away from the fork. Okay. So that was primase that added the primer. Here it comes now. Clamp attaches DNA polymerase to it, extends the 3' end all the way to the previously primed sequence. So moving away from the fork here. There it is. Now this will, when it meets this, there'll be a gap. It'll dissociate. And now our DNA polymerase 1 is going to bind here and remove that in the 5' direction and replace it. And then see that? Chew it off, replace it in the same direction, 5' direction. Okay. On Wednesday, we'll see the editing power of DNA polymerase 3 that goes in the opposite direction to replace a base. There's a gap there that ligase seals the sugar phosphate backbone.